Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glenn Sutherland.
Welcome to an episode of Canadian Investing in the U.S. This week, my guest is Vlad Arakcheyev. Did I get it right? Did I get pretty close?
Arakcheyev, yeah, pretty close.
Anyway, Vlad, you want to give everybody a bit of an intro, a little bit of your background, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, sure. Well, happy to be here, and I live in New Jersey, and I am a full-time investor in commercial real estate. I primarily buy in very selected markets in Midwest and the Sun Belt. I focus on multifamily only. Just want to be really hyper focused and targeted on that asset class. So the way I started is I used to be a graphic designer, nothing to do with real estate whatsoever. And then everything happened during COVID. COVID hit, I got furloughed, didn't know what's going to happen. I got mortgage, I got a family, and what are we going to do? Right? We don't know when the next paycheck is coming from. And my wife suggested, hey, listen, why don't you try being a real estate agent? And I started, I've taken the classes at night because during COVID, you couldn't go anywhere. I've taken it at night on the computer, got my real estate license and started selling, residential houses here in Jersey. And slowly but surely started moving towards investing, towards looking at wholesaling, flipping, also all residential. Got myself a rental here in New Jersey as well. And then shortly realized that we needed to basically expand. We needed to grow as fast as possible. And this is exactly how it happened. And I went to a multifamily conference in Texas, and everything changed. Absolutely everything. The people that I met there and what I've seen or saw how people are just doing crazy deals, like 200 units, $1 million deals, teaming up together, taking the deals down. And that just changed my mindset completely. And I exited very, very quickly single family space. Still am an agent. I'll sell you a house in Jersey, but when it comes to investing, multifamily only for me.
Okay. I wanted to talk teams, but you just, like always, you said something that's like sparked my interest. So you said you were investing in markets. You listed some areas. Whereabouts, what markets are you interested in?
Sure, yeah. My main market is Texas. I'm investing in Dallas and Houston. I'm looking in San Antonio as well. The whole DFW triangle, that's my go-to. Secondary market that I really focus on is Kansas City, the whole MSA. And I'm expanding not just the city itself on the Kansas and the Missouri side. I'm just doing the whole, I would say, within 2 hours of Kansas City, pretty wide. And my third market, and that just happened by accident. I didn't want to be anywhere else, and somebody just from my mastermind came over and they said, hey, listen, we have this great opportunity in the Carolinas. You want to check it out? And I said, hey, listen, I'll look, but it's not, it's not my thing. I looked and I couldn't say no. I am a GP and LP actually in 2 deals in the Carolinas. So, and now I have to say that I'm in the Carolinas too. So yeah, I'm very happy to be there.
Yeah. You know what? Great minds think alike. That's where I'm trying to buy my multifamily right now. We're focused on San Antonio and Kansas City. So I think it's there's a lot of like great parts to doing that. Like lenders are interested in those markets, more so in Texas than Kansas City, but you still can get the lending. And anyway, I was delighted that you're in the same markets. So
this is a really hot market. I mean, it just top of, if I'm thinking just like right there, I would say Cincinnati, Georgia. I mean, a few of my friends are investing in Denver. you name it, and you can buy there and make money. I would stay away from, I would say, blue states, especially New York and New Jersey. It's kind of, flexible. California, it's just I
Talking
don't
rent
see
control
any,
places. Yeah.
yeah. So I prefer going south, Midwest. Those are my target markets.
Awesome. So, you did a lot in the last few years, and you've had to build a bunch of different teams. You want to tell us a little bit about like how you did that? Was it you inherited from your partners? Because usually people aren't going solo on on buying the multifamily. So how do you go about building your teams, and even just switching to the Carolinas? Like how do you do this every time?
Sure, yeah. You know what? Building a team, in my opinion, is the most important and number one thing that you should do. You typically hear, oh, you get the deal and the team will come and will find the money. No, no, no. That's not how it is.
No.
That's completely, the money is not going to come, number one. You can get the most amazing deal. The money is not going to come because the investors they're not looking at the deal. They're looking at you. They're looking at the operator, right? So if the operator doesn't know they don't know what they're doing, the investor's not going to go. They're going to check their record and everything. So don't think this way. Building the team is crucial. So the way I did it is this. So there's two ways that I can see. You can have the slow way, or you pay to play, right?
Yeah.
So I paid. I joined a mastermind or a multifamily community called Jake and Gino.
Yep. I've heard of that.
They are all over the United States. There's many out there, and they suggest if you are going to join, because they're expensive, all of them are. Please do your due diligence and interview at least several, if not all of them, and see if you really click with the community and just the whole learning aspect of it, right? So I joined Jake and Gino, and from there it took about 8 to 12 months for me to constantly speaking with I'm not going to say all, but a lot of members that are really active in my markets, and just going like, hi, you guys are underwriting, where are you buying? Oh, Texas, can I join your group? Can we underwrite together? Oh, and it's consistency, constantly showing up, not just once, not twice, for 8 months showing up, no deals, just showing up.
What is
First,
showing up? Is that like on a Zoom call or? Hello, everybody. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I just wanted to let you know that I've created a new coaching program. I believe the new coaching program has way more value than any of the programs that have even existed in the past. What we've done is pre-recorded all the lessons so that you can work through it at your own pace, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to meet up on a regular basis to answer the questions, do deal analysis, and actually spend our time together working on things instead of spending our time learning things. I think this will make a seamless transition to buying in the United States and will help you solve a lot of your problems. If this is of interest to you, go to glensutherland.com/coaching. I hope to help you guys invest in the United States, and I hope we provide as much value as possible. Back to the podcast.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
absolutely. Zoom calls, constantly. You ready for this? I used to go to 5 Zoom calls per day, at least 5 per day, each day for at least 6 to 8 months, nonstop. So people would be already like, "Oh, hey Vlad, how's everything?" They're not gonna be like, what are you working on?" No, they're like, "Oh, how's your kids, soccer practice?"
Yeah.
We knew each other just that closely, because if you think about it, when you're getting into a deal, you're with that person for 5 years, at least for 5 years. So you have to know them. So if you don't know them, why you getting into a deal with them, right? You don't know their work ethic or anything like that. You have to make sure, because ultimately your money is at stake, yes. But if you're working in a syndication, your investors' capital is at stake and your reputation. So it's really important to basically work in the team and vet the team, know everything about them. So it took about 8 months and all these calls. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. And of course, Jake and Gino, I don't know how others do it, but Jake and Gino have a lot of in-person meetups. So I flew to Texas, I flew to Tennessee, Kansas City, Orlando. I mean, I flew like, I would say 6 times 2 years ago and 4 times last year just to meet the partners. And they came to New York, New Jersey area, and I met them here. So it's a growing, evolving relationship. So it's really important to build that relationship. And then eventually we clicked. Few people were like, oh, I like you and I like you. So let's work together. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? And that's exactly how it is, because technically, if I'm an underwriter, I'm not, but if I am, do I need really another underwriter? Unless I'm bottlenecking at underwriting, not really. So you have to find people that have opposite skills of, but make sure you guys work together. So it's really important.
Without getting too personal, like, what are your skills? Like, what was your contribution to bring to the group that they were interested in having?
You know what? That's a great question. Since I came from residential real estate and I used to cold call all these people trying to sell, list, and list their houses. And then when I used to be a flipper, I called and asked them, would you sell your house for cash? I transferred that skill basically, for the lack of a better word. I transferred that skill to multifamily. So what I used to do is I went direct to seller. I went direct to seller in multifamily, and it was quite successful, because my direct to seller ended up us buying 40 units in Kansas City, right? Completely off market, and we got a great price for it, 50,000 per unit, which is just awesome. And it's a small JV, right? It was not a syndication. And then, of course, when you go direct to seller, another advantage is that even if it's not your deal, you can assign that deal to an end buyer. Yes, you can assign a multifamily deal, so you make money that way. So that's one of my skills. And the second one is raising capital. And that is just something that I just had to get, right? Because everybody needs to raise money. Everyone. If you want to or not, you just have to. You have to be able to raise money, because in this market cycle, as you can see, leverage is very low. So you have to raise a lot of money. Like our last raise was 13 million. The raise that we worked on just a few months back was 20 million. Well, the purchase price was, 44, but still, right? It's a big chunk of money. So you have to know how to raise capital. So that's what I do. I do marketing, investor relations. I raise money. I go direct to seller. That's what I focus on. And of course, I'm offering my services where they need it. I know I shouldn't really do it, but I really like to learn as much as possible about everything, right? So, like, for example, we have asset management team, and I'm like, hey guys, can I just join your calls? Because for me, I don't want to be an asset manager, but I want to learn, right? For just my own skills, for my own knowledge. So I'm joining all the asset management calls, and I see how they talk with property managers and what are they discussing, how's the budget going. I mean, it's really educational. So my suggestion would be participate on all the calls. Yeah.
Great advice. You're trying to find properties off market and you're looking at multifamily. How do you not waste your time? Like, how do you target your properties? Is it like I want that neighborhood, or do you just get hey, San Antonio has 700 multifamily buildings. I'm going to call all 700.
October 21st, we are hosting a conference in Mississauga at the Doubletree. We have some amazing speakers lined up. Brady McDonald, Quentin D'Souza, Felix Vortman, Arlen Bonin, myself, Adam Rass, Ali Ajami, Brent Green. The conference is called Canadians Investing in U.S. Multifamily. If you're looking for more information, please go to glensutherland.com/conference.
You know what? I wish San Antonio, not
I'm
even
just making
close
up a
to
number, right?
700.
But yeah.
It's actually pretty low number if you think about it. So I'm focusing, let's say, mom and pop from 20 units to 70,
Yep.
right? So you put your criteria up to 70 doors. You put your vintage, let's say 19, I don't know, 70, and you get the list, and the list is not a lot. It's not. I would say it's 200. Really, 200 transactions. It's not that many. If you can make 50 calls a day if you really if you have a dialer, you can do 200 calls in 3 hours. It's super easy to do. It's not difficult. The key thing is to follow up all the time. So you're gonna call once, they're not gonna believe you. They were like, this guy is a fake, this guy is a joke, plus he's calling probably from New Jersey and he has a weird accent. Forget about him. We're just gonna Then you're gonna follow up with the text message. Then you're gonna follow up with the email. Maybe you're gonna send them a postcard or a piece like a letter, a handwritten letter. So it's constant touches that you have to do. Maybe you have to do 8 to 10, and then people start to notice you. Like, hey, listen, this guy's for real. And most important thing is, if you're gonna do it, make sure you have somebody to back you up. Boots on the ground is important. I'll give you an example. So I called this guy in Kansas City, and he goes, "Hey, listen, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you're a real person. I think you're calling from like a foreign country or something like that." And I go, "Listen, what do I have to do to show you that I'm a real person, I'm a real buyer, and I'm serious?" He goes, "Why don't you meet me in this coffee shop tomorrow?" And he gave me an address in Missouri. I immediately called my partner Joe, and I'm like, "Joe, this deal seems to be penciling. The potential seller wants to meet with us. Go meet him." And he goes, "No problem. I'll meet him there at 10 a.m. So he calls me back. He's like, "Great guy. We had a great conversation. We are building this relationship, and everything is going great." So it's really important to have somebody there, boots on the ground, so you can go and speak with them, and of course following up. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say that you jumped on a plane and you showed up the next morning.
No.
Oh, that's interesting. And you're saying like, a lot of times they weren't taking you serious from all these things. You said you had a team, and like some of these people, like I'm wondering, like if you had some, big names on your team, is it possible to like, have a letterhead that has their name on it as well, or something to?
Yeah, that's exactly how I've done it. In the very beginning, I literally called and I said, "Hey guys, can I just use your letterhead, use your credentials, and your properties, and just say, hey, I didn't have a website in the beginning."
Yeah.
And I go, "I'm just gonna reference you." And they say, "I'm an acquisition manager with that team, and we're looking to purchase in so and so." So you basically use somebody else's credibility with their permission, of course,
Yes.
because it's a win-win. Don't
Yeah.
forget, you're
you're
not
working
doing
with
it
them.
by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am with them. I cannot buy this by myself, so I'm using them. And of course, their benefit is, if I get a deal, guess who I'm going to? Them. So it's really important to work together and never be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm doing it all by myself, and I'm not gonna share." Sharing is important because it's all about team building. So I would say, of course, build a team and use their credibility.
And then for like doing mortgages and stuff, do you need to, is somebody on your team like the mortgage qualifier, or do you have to bring in a key principal or KP, or how does yours structure in order to actually get the lending to back this whole thing up?
Hey everyone, are you interested in buying U.S. multifamily? Glenn Sutherland and I have put together a comprehensive 12-week course to teach you to do just that. Join us September 25th on Zoom, where we will be sharing everything you need to know to feel confident about purchasing in the U.S. Check out glennsutherland.com/coaching for more information and to sign up. See you soon.
Exactly, yeah. KP is important. So if you don't have enough liquidity, bringing it to KP, it's super important. We in the beginning did not have a balance sheet to get a mortgage.
Millions of
So
dollars.
yeah, but that's why I said you have to pay to play. We found a bunch of people in Jake and Gino community that have a lot of liquidity, that have money. And they're like, yeah, sure. If the deal pencils, we know you. We're more than happy to be your KPs, right? So that's where the relationship is coming from. So let's say you don't have that relationship. Let's say you found the most amazing deal. My follow-up question is, how are you going to buy it? Well, you're just going to go to and get let's say a loan? No, nobody's going to give you a loan for $10 million unless you have, what, 2 years of experience and a bunch of exits or, some doors on the management. Nobody's going to give you that. And if you're gonna go to a key principal and say, hey, listen, I have this amazing deal, they don't know you. They won't sign off on your loan. So it's really important to build and nurture that relationship. And you can do it just by going on, let's say, Zoom calls. There's, I don't know, dozens of Zoom calls per day, each day, throughout the day, and all weeks. You just go and just constantly show up. Constantly show up, and people will know you. That's the long way. The shorter way, pay to play. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure if this is your department at all, but when you're setting up the other teams, the property management, anyone, the contractors or anything that gets needed, any tips for picking those players to be on your team?
You know what? Yeah. Typically I just ask for recommendations. That's what I
from
do.
the Jake and Gino community, or from like local guys?
Before, yes, now not anymore. You kind of grow. You start growing as you purchase more properties. You go to other multifamily networking events. You grow, people know you, and you'll be like, hey, listen, I'm looking for a property manager in Kansas City. Who do you know? Like right now, we're looking for insurance, right? That's the pain thing right here. Our insurance went up 30%. We're looking to change insurance companies. So I'm not gonna cold call an insurance. No, I'll ask for a reference. I'm like, who do you have? Can you make an introduction? So I'm making a warm call, and they said, hey, listen, I know you from so and so. Let's talk insurance. So it now we're just asking, what are they? Because listen, multifamily, it's a small community.
Yes,
it's small. If you look at, let's say, major networking events throughout the country, right? Per year, I don't know, I can name, let's say, 10 major ones. And if you look at the guest list, look at the speaker list, or look at who's going, it's the same people. You know every other person. The community is so small that you can literally reach out to anyone. And if you're in that circle all the time and people know you, people are like, oh yeah, I know this person. Let me make a connection. Because it's a win-win. It's a win-win because they're gonna ask you the same thing next time, and you're gonna make that connection. So it's really important. It's really important to basically network. I know everybody says network is your net worth, which is true, and I truly understand. If you're gonna network with people that do flips, you're gonna keep on doing flips. If you're gonna network with people that do buildings, you're gonna start doing buildings. So if you're looking to get into multifamily, and it's a long path, you just 2-3 years, you investing, and basically nothing is returning back. But think about it this way: you invest your money and time, and your money is working for you, right? You're not losing money. And then you're investing in yourself and your skills. You're more valuable to others now. So your money is working for you, and you're more valuable. So if you look at it that way, then yeah, go for it. But if you have no other choice, then maybe you can start small and grow.
I like it. A lot of good information here, a lot of good tips. Vlad, if people wanted to get a hold of you, they're interested in the deals you're doing, they're interested to find you online, how do they go about doing that?
I got a really unique name, Vlad Arakcheyev. I'm all over social media.
They might have a hard time spelling that though.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's Arakcheyev. So I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, I do pretty cool TikTok videos. I think so anyway, because
find you on TikTok.
people use these, you know, they give tips and tricks and all this stuff. I go very light, like entertaining, because we listen to this stuff while we're in a train or something like that. Yeah, a lot of stuff doesn't have to be all educational. It can be entertaining. So like I went on an appointment, I showed where I went, and at the same time I talk about my motorcycle, right? Because I was riding a bike there. So I'm like, hey, look at this. Now you learned something about a motorcycle, and at the same time, you know that I went to literally to Monroe, New Jersey to show somebody a condo and show this big development that they're doing there. So it's kind of a win-win. You get
they also get to know you. They
but
get to know a little bit more than just business. A little bit about who you are, what you like. Yeah, like it.
And of course, my website, Zontic Ventures. You can go there. I send some newsletters out. You can read about me and our strategies and what we do and how we invest. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to help. It's like I said, everybody started from nothing.
Yeah.
From absolute zero. And everybody said, hey, listen, somebody helped us, we'll pay it forward. And that's exactly how it is. I'm more than happy to help, because I know it's a long journey, and whatever mistakes I made, I want to point you in the right direction, because people did the same with me, or for me, I should say. So it's a win-win.
I love it. Well, Vlad, thank you for coming on the show. I'm sure some people will reach out. I really appreciate it. Lots of value here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. And hey, listen, always here to help, and I can recommend a few things on mindset, and that's another conversation. But it's really interesting
have you back.
how your mind changes when you start working on yourself and being in that space. It's really, really cool. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was a nice video. Bye.